Hello, and thank you again for choosing Swing Essentials. We've got you here next to Rory McIlroy. And again, really good posture setup here. Really like the progress since the last video. We're going to just touch on a couple things. And they have to do with weight transition and left hand placement. So as we start off, again, really good posture. Love to see that posture. You can see Rory standing a little bit taller, and that again helps him turn a little bit. But again, where the hands are, really like where the hands are, right below the chin, kind of letting them fall. Love where the feet are. I'd like to see a little less bend in the knees. I'd like the backside just kind of right on the heel. You can see that there's some depth in the backside to heel. And what that does is that's going to put the weight a little bit more on the middle part of your feet. They need to be on the middle part of the feet because we need that weight to shift. And here's how we're going to do it. First and foremost, let's go ahead and relax that right arm a little bit. I like to see just a little bit of that left arm. You can see with Rory there, see a little bit of that left arm through there. Again, want to be able to see that left arm so that we take the club away in the proper position. Again, really good takeaway. Love to see how that club face is almost aligned with our spine. That's a good checkpoint, right? When it gets about halfway back, we want to make sure that that club face, there it is, that club face is in line with our spine. So that's a really good capture point right there to make sure that that club face is in line with our spine. And the club face, if it's pointed a little open or a little closed, this is where we're going to see that. So again, just a shade open, right? You can see it kind of right there. Really well done. You're almost there. Again, really close. I'd like to see that just a little closed and getting that right arm at address a little softer. That's going to help you keep that face a little closed. Okay. You get into a very, very, very good position here, but you can see that club face drop below the hands. Again, we want to keep those hands below the club face there. We don't want those hands to get above the club face because then we get a little flippy. Now, what you can see here on the right and the left part is where is the weight, right? We want that weight to be in the back heel at the top of our driver swing. Okay. Again, 50-50 all the way to the top, but mostly on that back heel because then we get to really push off. As we push off, that club really gets behind us. And again, that's where we really want to be, bringing that club on down and into the golf ball. Again, really well done. Pushing off that right back heel onto the left front toe. Again, nice and tall. And again, this is what I want to see. I want to see all the spikes there on that right foot. You can see that when we're done, we tend to fall back a little bit. And if we fall back a little bit, it combines with the two things that we talked about earlier. So if we go ahead and we line up with our right hand a little softer, and we're able to ensure that when we take the club back, that club face is a little closed so that it aligns with our spine. We don't let that club face drop below our hands, and then we push off that back heel onto our front foot so that we can see every single spike on that left heel. So again, to recap one more time, let's go ahead and just soften that right elbow, bend that a little bit so I can see a little bit more of that left arm. Let's go ahead and unbend the knees a little bit to get that backside a little closer to the heel. When we take the club back, let's go ahead and make sure that that club face is exactly where our spine angle is. When we get to the top of the swing, that's where we should stop, right there. It's going to feel like a 3/4 swing, but you'll be right on plane. From there, that weight is on the back right heel. We then push off and get to the front toe. Everything there looks absolutely terrific. Again, club face a little open there because it was open on the back, and that will yield a lot more consistent drawing golf balls. Again, great job. Let's go take a look at your view from a face-on view and give you a couple drills. Okay, I've got you here next to Justin Thomas. What you're going to see right off the bat is a little bit of a difference in our setup. So again, we want those shirt buttons going towards the knee there. The buttons here go straight down. We want to make sure that that shoulder is back. If the shoulder gets in front of the lead shoulder, again, that leads to a lot of inconsistency in ball striking. We also want to make sure that the hip is kicked out a little bit and moving up. You can see that our hip is very straight. Because that golf ball's on a tee about 2.5 inches up in the front of our stance, we want to make sure that our hips are actually pointed up a little bit, because that allows us to come up and meet the golf ball. So the stance on the left is actually perfect for an iron or a wedge, because everything's very level, right? We want to make sure that those hips are going up a little bit, and you can kind of see it on the right, making sure that we're primed to attack that golf ball. So as we take the club back, what you're going to see is, again, the left shoulder moving immediately towards that right foot. And the left knee moves toward the golf ball, but that shoulder is going towards that right foot, that right knee. As we take the club back, what you're going to see is that shoulder tends to not get as far over to the right as we'd like to see. So again, right here, I'd like to see that shoulder over the toe. And what that does is that allows you to get your back to the target early, and allows you to come into the golf ball a lot more shallow, which makes it a lot easier to hit the ball a longer way. So again, as you can see, kind of as this is starting to come up here, what you're going to see is you're going to see this angle from his left shoulder down the small of his back here. And again, what that does is that allows him to hit up on the golf ball. Again, we're pretty straight here, so we would have to fire those hips left to go ahead and make good contact with the golf ball. So we want to make sure that when we're here, we get the back to the target early, and that the lower body moves first, so that we can get those hands behind us. As the club comes down, really good action with that shoulder, with that elbow moving into the body. Really good stuff. But again, we need to keep turning with that lower body, and you can really see it here with Justin, right? Almost coming off the ground with that. But again, that belt buckle's going down to the target. Head is still down. Yeah, really good release there. But we have to make sure that we are totally on that toe, because as you can see here, we get a little bit of a reverse C action, which means we're still on that back foot as we come through the shot. So just a couple things to ensure that we're doing right. First is, let's go ahead and set up for success. Kick the hips out. Shirt buttons really pointed toward the left toe. Off the ball, we need to get the shoulder over to that toe much more quickly, so that we can turn and get our back to the target early. And then 3, once we get here, extremely well done. The goal is to get that right belt buckle going out towards the target while keeping the head over the golf ball. So again, belt buckle out, head down toward the right toe. Again, that's exactly where we want to be. And then just keep going, because I want that weight all the way on that front foot. That weight has to go forward. So a really good drill is to hit it and see if you can walk afterwards. So again, really good job. A lot of really good progress. Just get that left shoulder over the toe and make sure that we are all the way up on that left side after impact. So again, really well done. Thank you very much for choosing Swing Essentials and supporting a small business. Let's go ahead and get you some tips to take to the driving range. Thanks again. We look forward to seeing the great progress. Hi, my name's AJ Nelson, PGA Golf Official, and this is your tip of the month. If you're having trouble getting a full turn, in other words, getting your back to the target, this drill is going to help you. Take a club, put it just inside your right heel. As you turn, make sure that your shoulders get even with that golf club. That helps promote a full turn and then helps you get back into the golf shot. So give yourself a full turn, make sure you're doing it right, make sure that that chest gets even with the club inside your right heel, and have fun out there. Hi, my name's AJ Nelson, PGA member at Swing Essentials, and this is your golf tip. Here's a check that when you bring the club back, you're in the right position. You want to make sure that when you bring that club back, that face of that club is lined up with the buttons on your shirt or your spine. You can see that the face of the club is even with the buttons on my shirt or my spine. If it's open, likely that ball's going to go to the right. If it's closed, likely that ball's going to go to the left for right-handed golfer. So when you line up, get that club in line with the buttons on your shirt. That's your golf tip.